What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here, doing another review, doing Venomized #1. And this right here is probably the start of the event that has been going on since last October, I would say, that no one really has been talking about. They always talk about these big, epic events, Infinity, Countdown Prime and stuff like that. That's kind of what's going on now. But this really started in Venomverse, and Venomverse was last fall, which was just kind of like almost like a fan service Venom series where you got to see a bunch of heroes, like different heroes of almost what ifs. What if Captain America had the symbiote? What if this person had a symbiote? What if this person? And it ended again. It was a really good story arc. They were battling these creatures called poisons who used symbiotes and their host to kind of form a new being, part of this like hive mind collective. It also then came up in the Poison X series arc, which was the crossover event between Venom and X-Men Blue, which actually just ended, I think, 2 weeks ago, which was also very good. Maybe it was a little more than 2 weeks ago. So this then, I think, if it was like a 3-part event, now we're in part 3, and this I think will be the conclusion, if not maybe not defeat of the poisons, but maybe the push back of them. The poisons have kidnapped all of the symbiotes off of their homeworld, and now pretty much are going around but giving super powered hosts symbiotes so that then they could later on and come back and be harvested. And I kind of like that. I like the fact that the poisons are playing it smart. They're giving symbiotes to, again, kind of, mutants and other superpowered like people. So you got like Hercules and Thor. And of course they make this note right before this page. Note, the events in this book take place before the death of the mighty Thor. Oh, look, because it's still female Thor, even though she's dead. So what I like here is they think they're being watched. There's some poisons on the roof with their symbiote guns. Thor, smashes them, with some lightning. But then I love this badass looking Hawkeye poison, and he's just like, nope, got you. Meanwhile, then there's a Punisher looking poison, and Spider-Man even kind of, he's like, look, you kind of look like Punisher, you kind of acting like Punisher, but you're not Punisher because that's not how the Punisher looks. So he chucks some grenades and they blow up. Of course, they're not grenades; it's a symbiote. So now he's back into his black costume, which I don't understand, because I thought the way the symbiote looked was kind of a marrying of the two, like the look of the human and but also more an individual of the symbiote itself. Because correct me if I'm wrong, and hit me up in the comments on this if I am wrong. I could go back and look, but in Venomverse, the Poison Spider-Man is red and blue, like his normal self. I would think now, if in his black attire, if a poison were to get him, he would look just kind of black and white. So it was just interesting that he kind of became, the same, even though symbiotes are individuals. You'd think that would have some sort of individual tone. So I wish they would have given him a little bit of a different look. But I do like the classic, so it's kind of like I wish I had something new, but I like the fan service as well. So then he kind of calls him out. He's like, look, you're going to be in our army, you just don't know it yet. And he kind of tells him, you kind of see this, like, as Punisher's talking, you see all these other heroes kind of getting taken. And this didn't make sense to me. I didn't understand this because a symbiote's not going to absorb the armor, a mechanical device. So really, you're just going to get a symbiotic Riri Williams, which is just a smart person, I guess. Like, I don't see what this brings to the table. And later on, you see her like symbiote form, and you're like, it's just the armor with some different detailing to it. Like, I don't get what that is. Like, I don't see how that is possible and or counts or matters. But the Punisher is talking, and I like what he says. He's, he says, right here. He says, you should make peace with your loved ones, Aunt May and Mary Jane Watson. He's like, wait, how do you know? He's like, you're not the first Spider-Man to join our ranks. We know your secrets in the Hive. And he's like, oh, well, that's not good. So, this too, let's see where, no, I want to, yeah. So, you think after the Venomverse story arc, you kind of thought that Doom, like the Poison Doom, was like the head of the poisons, but now you see this poisoned Thanos, which, Thanos is kind of like the Russia of comic, the Marvel universe. It's like, we need a bad guy that everyone hates and is really powerful. Oh, let's use Thanos. It's like, okay, we get it. You got a big movie coming out. You need to push him. He's a good character, but at the same time, it's like, quit going to the well or it's going dry. But this is what I like. They're talking about, how they work, for the Hive. And he says, and Doom says, I have no desire to fail her again. And it took me a second, but then that's Doom's mom. And then it goes back to Thanos, and he says, no, after all, you can be replaced. He's like, so can we all. And Thanos says, I'm aware. And he says, she frequently reminds me, and of course it's death. So that lets me know that they're not there's some sort of entity. The poisons can use kind of their psychic abilities to create projections, but it appears that there's something controlling that. There's some sort of central that they're able to then individualize. So like Doom sees this like Queen Hive as his mom, whereas Thanos sees this Queen Hive being as death. Something again that kind of allows them both to be confined and like bound to it. I kind of like this too. Spider-Man tries to get rid of the symbiote with the ye old clock tower, but doesn't seem to work. Another thing they make mention is that the poisons have genetically engineered these symbiotes. So it appears that they've kind of almost like made them to the point where they can't leave their host. So Pete tries to use the sounds to get rid of it. It doesn't work. And he finds out too, he's like, look, I can't hear you in my head, but I can feel you. So that's another thing that kind of I was a little irritated with the Poison X storyline, and also even in the Venomverse. These suits are beings, that's one of the reasons why I like Venom. I like the back and forth between the suit, like the wearer of the suit and the suit. You kind of have that rapport. But you don't, you didn't really get that. The only symbiote suit that ever seems to really talk is the original Venom, symbiote. So, but Pete says here, he's like, look, I can feel you. When I rang the bell, you were screaming. He's like, but I can't, hear you in my head. So it lets me know that, okay, they've done something to these symbiotes to almost, lock them down. I want to show this last page. So then you get, this is the symbiote Riri Williams. And again, she's armored. I don't get why there needs to be, I don't know. Again, the symbiote's not going to absorb the armor. You're just going to be a smart girl inside, like with a venom or with a symbiote inside the armor. So, but yeah, I'm interested to see where it's going. So they're planning on harvesting all of the superheroes. They gave symbiotes 2. Should be a good storyline. Again, I think this is going to be the conclusion. So anybody who's been reading this since Venomverse, I think this will be the payoff. Definitely check it out. But yeah, subscribe over here. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And I will see you next time.